I would like to announce to the world that I will become the pound-for-pound #1 jockey on the planet.
You may be the king in your little world of M.A.M.
MMA!
Hey, it's Karyn Bryant for MMA Heat. I'm here with Frank Coraci, who is the director of movies that everybody has seen. The Ridiculous Six is the most recent one, right? With Adam Sandler.
Yes, it is.
He directed Waterboy, he directed Click, he directed The Wedding Singer, a bunch of other things. And the reason we're here today is because this is the man behind all those incredible clips with Conor McGregor for the Pegasus World Cup. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I got to direct the champ.
The champ.
It was an honor.
Yeah, so let's talk about this whole thing. First and foremost, it's a horse race. The Pegasus World Cup is a horse race, and it's the richest.
It's the biggest purse horse race yet in history.
Okay.
And that's part of why who's the biggest champ in the world? They thought get Conor McGregor to represent.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to know how this came together because, as we know, as I just stated, you know, you're a director of some of the biggest comedies. Actually, let's blow this man up a little. The biggest, the #1 sports comedy of all time with The Waterboy. So, you know, the guy's got an idea of how to direct comedy. So how did you guys come up with the idea of putting Conor in with horse racing? Because obviously, that's not really mostly what people would think of with him.
So the Stronach Group, who's promoting the Pegasus horse race, came to Space 150, and they had this concept of the 13th jockey to help people get interested in horse racing that haven't been exposed to it. And they realized Conor would be the perfect guy because it's the biggest horse race in the world, get the biggest champ in the world, and make him be the spokesperson. And they had the idea of 13th jockey, and they said, well, who's the biggest comedy director in the world? So they were like, let's fit him up with the champ.
Boom! Speaking of, Here Comes the Boom is another one of his, which is why, if you guys know, we first met Frank because he directed Here Comes the Boom, and we love that movie, and we wanted to get the story behind that film and the whole MMA connection with you, and so that is on my YouTube channel, which is great, because that was just such a fun movie as well. But so the question for me is, and I've worked with Conor a lot, I think he's hilarious, I think he's a great guy, but you know, somebody who is just funny at a press conference and funny off the cuff, you don't know that they're guaranteed to have acting chops. So what was it like actually having to direct the champ, and how good was he right away?
Well, I mean, I just got to say this. In history, some people come along that are amazing in their sport.
Yes.
And they happen to match up with amazing charisma.
Right.
And we're talking Ali level. Yeah. We're talking Michael Jordan. And so I think Conor is the modern day Ali. And he has a little bit of a reign to carry on for more years because Ali obviously was around for a long time. But from the minute I saw him, I'm a huge fan of MMA, UFC.
Yeah.
I don't miss a fight. And so I've been watching Conor all along, and I thought this guy is an amazing entertainer.
Yeah.
It's just natural for him, and he's genuinely funny.
Right.
And so when Space 150 said that Conor is going to be the person to do the 13th jockey, I was immediately like, I had to work with this guy because he's one of the best at what he does, and I know he's funny, and because he's funny, he's smart.
Right.
So it was exciting to meet him the first day and to start to work on this. You know, the scripts were great. I tailored them to put in all the stuff he's great at and try to make it easy for him. But it was amazing to see when somebody's great at something, they're great at almost everything they do. And from the first day, his learning curve was amazing. He was a natural right away, but he quickly would ask the right questions. I would give him direction, and he knew how to. He's naturally funny, but it's a different thing to be funny on camera, shoot a bunch of different angles. But his learning curve was amazing. He got so good at it so fast, and each spot he gets better and better. The spots get funnier and funnier. But from the beginning, he was a natural, and he came totally prepared. He's totally dedicated. It's like I wrestled, and I apply my wrestling to when I make a movie at the same dedication. So it was easy to talk to him about how to do stuff and kind of apply the same mentality of practicing it first and then getting the rhythm. And you know, I would be talking, Jon Lovitz is in the spots, and I'd work with him a bunch, and he's a pro. And he watched how we were working together and quickly was like, oh, when you tell him to do that, and I saw his brain going, and it was literally, he is the fastest learner I've ever worked with. He's a natural, and it was a pleasure. He was dedicated. The other great thing is, you know, we had to do some stunts and some action stuff.
Yes.
I work with a lot of movie stars, and they'll do some of the stuff, but like there was a scene where he has to run around the track,
Yeah.
he was willing to do it over and over at top speed that I couldn't believe.
Nice. Well, and yeah, and I have seen. I'm privy to the rest of these. There's a series of five clips. No, 4 clips.
Four
clips that are coming
episodes.
out,
Yeah,
right?
we're calling
Because
them episodes.
The race is on January 28th at Gulfstream Park in Miami. So leading up to this, you guys will be releasing 1 clip per week, and so far we have seen 1. Well, I have seen the rest of them, and they are fantastic. And the great thing about it, I've seen the clip where Conor runs around. For all of you who love Conor, there's a lot of Conor-isms in this, which make it so fun. So how did you guys decide, or how did you know how much of the real Conor you could import into this and still, do you know what I mean, make it all work together?
It was easy. I'm a big fan of Conor, so everything from his ring walk to some of the lines, he's so thought out and so smart about what he does because he's an entertainer, like I said. So I just took the stuff that I loved and I knew fans would love, and I tried to organically weave them into the scripts. And it was just pure fun, and it was natural. And what we're doing, we got a few thoughts from his camp, and so we just made it what I would want to see, which is so I think what the fans would want to see.
Well, I'm curious too how he, like you just said, he's such a fast learner, and to be honest with you, I think that's what frustrates his enemies so much. Like, how the fuck is this guy this much better since the last fucking fight? Like, he really is. And you know, I was telling you off camera, you know, the first time I interviewed Conor was backstage at one of the shows in Boston, and you know, immediately 20 seconds in, I'm like, this guy has it. He has it. But you know, not everybody's able to really capitalize on that. So what I do love is that, you know, you've brought Conor in and he's doing this, but the idea is also to open up the sport, right? Because it's not just that you wanted to go and have some fun and work with your favorite fighter, right? The idea was to kind of open the sport of horse racing up to newer fans.
Yeah, it's a really entertaining sport, and being at the track, it reminded me, I used to go as a kid, and they also picked Conor because I know he likes to go with his buddies because there's a gambling element. You can make money at the track. Exactly. And so that's part of the approach, but it is sort of a fun place because you go to the race and there's a bunch of time in between. You can have cocktails, you can listen to music, and that's where this Pegasus is taking this movement towards a total entertaining kind of day, and who better to have fun with than a guy like Conor?
It's great, and it's great. And
he knows how to enjoy life.
He knows how to enjoy life. There's a contest part to this too that people will see as these clips unroll, as the films unroll. That there is a contest going along with this as well. But I do wonder, you know, with Conor, like when you had to put him together with Jon Lovitz, and if he's watching you and Jon work together, who, by the way, Jon is hilarious in these. Like his delivery, everything you love about Jon works as such a great counterpoint to Conor. But how did those two get on, and was it a quick, easy rapport with the two of them?
It was an easy rapport. I had worked with Jon, so he was a natural fit, and we brought him in because I wanted a well-seasoned pro in comedy.
Right.
And immediately the chemistry was great, and they were doing lines right away reading. The funny thing was, Conor knew his lines inside out. Jon doing it so long, he's like, what's the line? What's the line? But he's a pro. He always gets it.
And did he show up on time, Connie Mack? Because sometimes the press conference.
When I needed him to show up, man, he knew. He was there. He was there.
It's great.
His dedication is there.
And he really does know how to ride horses too, yes? There's some footage where he's riding.
He's a pro at whatever he does. He can ride the horse. I'm afraid of horses. He jumped on it, and he had to ride it. They basically, the jockeys ride it bareback.
Right.
So it's well, yeah.
I mean,
well, that's another thing I tell you. All right. So for the female Conor fans, there's an episode that's rated R.
Yeah.
And it's not because of violence. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, now.
That's it.
I've seen it. You know, got a little warm in the room.
I'm going to have another.
Yeah.
I like that you drink tequila now. It's not even 12 o'clock, but cheers.
You know.
I do this more often.
Yeah, no, and I'm laughing. A scarf plays a major role.
It does.
At one point.
When we're writing the spots, it's funny. You sit there and thinking what could be funny, and I'm not gonna say what it is, but sometimes you just look around and you go, "Oh, a scarf, that could be funny."
Right.
You'll see how it's funny.
So what was? I mean, this all sounds like it was nothing but fun. Were there ever any hiccups? Were there any crazy bloopers? Did he ever fall off a horse? Did he? You know.
There's always crazy bloopers, and there's always fun moments, and I think we're gonna string together some of those fun moments because to see the champ even and make a small error now and then is always kind of fun.
Nice.
Even though it barely ever happens.
Barely ever happens. Well, the other thing too I know about Conor is he doesn't really suffer fools. So. You saying that I'm a fan and I like your work, I'm sure he hears it all the time, but you then found out that he's actually a fan of your work too. How did this go down? Because
yeah, he was really happy because,
blow your own horn. You're allowed to blow your own horn.
But first of all, the minute I saw him, I immediately referred to him as Champ. Unprompted, because he has 2 belts in my eyes. And look, Aldo is an amazing fighter.
Yes, he is.
But Conor won it fair and square.
Right.
And to me, it's amazing that he has. That is one of the most amazing accomplishments.
We were
in
at Madison
any sport.
Square Garden too, and it was
2 belts
amazing.
by 2 amazing opponents. It wasn't like there were chumps in there.
Yeah, I was at the Aldo one too. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, and so he is the champ. And going on that note, the champ, they did want to bring in the guy that was the champ in his sport, which I guess
it's like I said,
number one sports comedy. It made sense.
But he didn't know that, right? Conor didn't know.
When he found out the movies
resume?
I did, he was really happy because I think the Waterboy's. I don't know if it's his favorite. It's pretty high up there. It might be his favorite. I don't know. But So he really digs Here Comes the Boom.
Right.
So that was a nice thing because the confidence he had in me was great. It was a mutual 2-way street.
Very nice.
And I gotta say, he's a bro. He's like a great guy, And I'm glad he's in my corner in case anything ever goes down.
I know. And speaking of his corner, you got some of his buddies in the back of the clip too. If you know the people, you know who to look for.
When I would do my movies, I roll with my whole posse, and it was so nice to see another guy who's having success. And all of his boys that he grew up with and that he trains with, they're all in this gang. So I put them in the spot in the back. They're his posse in the first spot. You see them on the stage, and they're just a great bunch of guys. We had a lot of fun together.
It's cool. And now, what do actual jockeys weigh? About 125 pounds or something?
I'm not an expert on that.
Because he could be the champ. I'm just saying, if you challenge Conor and say, I don't think you can be a real jockey, he'll be like, really?
Oh, he can do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think he would actually,
maybe he doesn't even need a horse.
Maybe yes. That's a little bit of a knowing statement there. Again, so the race is January 28th. It is the Pegasus World Cup. If people want to find out more about it, you can look at their Facebook page, and certainly these are going to be coming out, like we said, every single week leading up to it. And they are so great. They're so funny. And like I said, I know your work. I know you do great work, but I really was. Not that I didn't expect it, but very pleasantly surprised at how well he did do and pull this off. The laugh for the laugh alone, his laugh is just, it kills me. It's very funny.
He's got all the makings of a great, when he's ready, a big action star. I'm actually, people are approaching me. I mean, I've been thinking about something great with him because I know he's funny. I know he's an athlete.
Right.
And so I just keep thinking action comedy. But people are actually approaching me now that we've done this together. So he's going to have a long career. He's one of those few people I think that can make the transition for sure. And like I said, he could pretty much do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Yes. Well, they're really, really funny. People definitely need to look for them. And not only will they be on the Pegasus World Cup Facebook page, but everybody's distributing these. Nobody's going to be able to miss these, even if they wanted to. So congratulations again, Frank. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome
Good to see
stuff.
you. Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
Tequila. I'm Frank Coraci. I'm a movie director.
The Waterboy, Here Comes the Boom, Click, so many more.
And you're watching MMA Heat, and it's great.